Matt, thanks for being on with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, I think to start, let's go and just love to learn more about yourself and your agency.
Absolutely. Again, thanks for having me. So I'm located in Denver, Colorado, an awesome market, a very tumultuous one, if you will. We've got the plains out east, we've got the mountains out west, lots going on there. Anyway, I've been a broker for the better part of 12 years. I own and operate Sea to Sky Insurance. If it has walls, wheels, or if it floats or is generally risky, I can find a way to protect it. That's kind of the motto behind Sea to Sky Insurance. I've got 3 people that work with me. We're a small boutique firm. We do focus on more of a preferred market, if you will, opposed to non-standard. We do specialize in landlords and investors. However, we do like to help out first-time home buyers if the need is there.
Awesome.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Fun fact about myself, insurance related. I sank my stepmother's SUV in a lake when I was, I'd say 28 years old. There was no alcohol involved. We were pulling some my father and I were pulling some jet skis out of a lake in central Illinois. And the moss had not been taken care of on the launch ramp. And when my father tried to put the car in gear to pull the skis out of the lake, it broke traction, and the SUV was literally gone in 60 seconds. I cannot tell you how shocked I was as everyone looked around, and it was a very interesting experience. So again, insurance played out, comprehensive paid, everything was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite the story. And as far as your agency, you have 3 employees. What do they, are they agents, more on the service side? Tell us more about that.
Yep, I've got 2 salespeople and then 1 customer service representative. So the customer service representative helps with billing, mortgagee clause changes, keeping clients happy, response times, running new proposals for new leads, and remarketing people as the current economic status that we're in. Rates are just all over the place. So a lot of folks are looking to shop. So that's the help there. And the other salespersons are out networking and generating leads, because that's the biggest focus. If you don't have leads, there's not much to do in the insurance business.
Right. And are they commissioned, or are they salaried with commission?
Yep. So the customer service representative is paid on a somewhat of a performance-based arena, and then the salespeople are definitely commission, production motivated, performance-based pay.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So getting into your other fun fact, tell us about your Christmas adventure that you go on every year.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a dirt bike and a dirt bike trailer. I've always been fascinated with anything with an engine. So I unfortunately had that dirt bike stolen from me, got it back, rebuilt the motor. It just didn't run the same. So I sold it, had this dirt bike trailer sitting around. So I built it into a Santa sleigh out of wood with the help of myself and friends and some bought materials and donated materials. And then I used that Santa sleigh trailer to take it around town to networking events. I hosted charity events, coat drives, canned food drives. It's always been a hit. And I kind of co-brand it with the company to just kind of do some brand recognition within my city.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yep. I dress up as Santa and do the whole thing every year. So it's it's a fun time.
Yeah, you got to follow Matt on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, getting back into gear on the tech side. Yeah, you have quite the extensive tech stack, agency stack, I like to say. Tell us more. Yeah, maybe start us like with the process and pair it with the software that you use. Like, a lead comes in and then just kind of take us on that journey.
Absolutely. So leads come in from various different ways, right? It could be a text introduction, an email introduction, a phone call, right? It doesn't matter how or where that lead comes through. I have a very outlined process of how I get them into the system, respond quickly, and show them and set the expectation of, I'm going to make this super easy on you. Why? Because I use technology. I have a bunch of tools in my tool belt. You're going to use some of these tools also to help make your life easier to obtain insurance, save money, fully understand your policies, right? A lot of folks buy on price. So, there's something to be said there. So I get a lead, I put them into Easy Links. Okay. I'm talking to them on the phone. I like to have them on the phone. I gather their info, and first things first, I need copies of your current policy. And that's where InsureGrid reigns supreme. It's such a powerful tool and I love using it. I set the expectation. If you want to work with me, if you want an insurance quote, you need to use InsureGrid. It's very simple. You're going to simply click this link. You're going to put in your very basic info. You're going to authenticate a login to your current carrier. If you have multiple carriers, you're going to do this twice. Each time it takes about 60 seconds. And all you're doing is giving me time-stamped and dated information. That way we don't have to sit on the phone for an hour collecting info, and I can get right to work for you, okay? So I really push it heavy that they need to send me their policies through InsureGrid to make life easier, right? 90% of people that I sell it to over the phone or via email or via text, they use it. I get the documents, I get the date of birth, driver's license numbers, like all the info that I need. It's very simple. From there, I get to work. Okay, so we start with the CRM, Easy Links. I put my info in. I use my comparative rater through Easy Links. I run the proposals. Okay, I use InsureGrid again to collect these declarations pages. From there, I use Loom. Some folks use BombBomb, but it's a video insurance proposal type software. So I pull up 2 PDFs, let's say for a home insurance scenario. They're going to get a link of a video recording. They're not going to see me or my face, but I basically send them an email that says, hey, I've ran your proposals. I've got some great news. Check out your quotes below, grab a pen to take notes. They click the link. They think that it's going to open a PDF, right? Because that's what most agents do. They send an email, it's got a PDF, or like takes them to a landing page where they can see their quote and they can scroll and look at the price and then be an unhappy insurance customer when they have a claim that doesn't go the way they wanted it to because they bought with their wallet, not their brain, right? So they click the link, boom, there's their current policy. Instantly, I focus on coverages, not premium. Whether I'm higher or lower, it doesn't matter. Your dwelling is X, my dwelling is X plus 30%.
He didn't leave off super great yesterday.
Okay, so I keep going from there and show them the side-by-side comparison with Loom to deliver a more consultative approach. At the end, I show them the calculator. Currently, your home auto umbrella is $6,500 per year. If we make this move to, this carrier, your new premium will be $4,200 per year. You are going to save X amount of dollars per year. That's the cherry on top, whether it's the savings, right? Oh, cool. I saved you $1,000. I've literally just talked to them for 5 to 8 minutes, focusing on the coverage differences. So by then, the price is a moot point. So that's where my process works. I also use BuildFacts to look at permits for any updates to the house, for plumbing, electrical, heating and air, and HVAC, right? Those things most people don't know, especially when they're buying a house, or maybe they've been in the house for 10 years and they can't really remember. Don't make people work for it. Make their lives easy, okay? There's another thing that I've started to dive into. It's TacoBot. It's a chat bot that's built specifically for insurance agents. Not super well versed in it, but it is a very powerful tool. It has a bunch of data mining capabilities, and it can kind of help relieve some customer service pain points, because people want answers very quickly, right? They want to be responded to in a timely manner. So you build these templates out customized to your agency for your generic responses. I just bought a car. I need to add a driver. I think I might have a claim. How do I get in touch with billing? Whatever. It gives people a very personalized approach. I also like using Calendly for my calendar, setting the expectation and timeline with people. It just really helps keep the day organized. Everyone's the most important. Their claim is the most dramatic, right? Their pricing, whatever their drama is, right? Me, now. If you don't set the expectation of this is how and when we're going to work together, people will just kind of hammer you home and not respect your time. And then when time's not respected, maybe you lose a client. So having structure with Calendly has really helped.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm seeing more and more agents do the video proposals through Loom, and I guess my question, and if anyone has any questions who don't use video proposals or thinking about it, feel free to chime in on the chat or unmute. But do you do Loom instead of setting up a meeting? Is this in replacement, or is this in parallel?
It's somewhat in replacement, right? Like the way I was taught in the early days was, you run the quotes, you send an email with the PDF, you follow up with the phone and go over it with them, right? When you send that email with the PDF, again, most people, they're just going to look at a price, or, they're going to make their own decision on their own accord. So by one, using InsureGrid to gather the declarations, and then two, using the video proposal, people are seeing it and they're hearing it, right? That's the two ways that people learn. And at the end of the day, insurance folks, we are educating people on what it is that they need. Every risk is unique, right? So when they see it and they hear it, they're actually taking time to absorb it. It's unique, it's different, right? And they actually understand it. Okay, so it helps them make an easy decision. They like the way that I do business. And again, it also helps with current client referrals, right? Matt's super easy to work with. Give him a call. He's going to make this super easy on you. He's not going to pull the wool over your eyes. You are going to see it and understand it, right? Opposed to just raising a deductible or cutting a coverage to win a policy. There's a lot of that in the industry. People just don't know what they're looking at, and especially right now with the cost of everything being expensive. It costs me $100 to walk out my door every day, it feels like, right? So where do people like to pinch pennies? My car insurance, my home insurance went up, right? They can't fight property tax increases. They can't tell the local grocer to lower their prices on grains and meat, right? They always go to insurance. So that's where it's really important to drive this home of, price is somewhat important, but it will be very devastating if you have a claim that does not play out in your favor because you wanted to save $30 a month.
Sure.
Right.
And so you've seen, because some agents I talk to I'm losing the personal touch if I don't ask for their policy information over the phone, or I'm losing the personal touch if I'm not reviewing the quote, on the phone. My question to you, like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, first impressions are everything. I've studied communication, verbal and nonverbal, a big part of my life, right? 70% of communication is nonverbal. So that puts phone salespeople at a very big disadvantage, right? You can't read body language, So you have to be very sharp on the phone. Yeah, that makes sense. So that first phone call, as I am kind of gathering some light info, you don't just want to take a lead and say, oh, here, I'm going to send you this link, click it, fill it out, and hang up the phone. You got to butter them up on that first phone call and make them love you, right? And if they want to regurgitate some info about the year the roof was replaced and I just had an electrician out and the wiring is good, whatever, that's fine. Let them do their thing. That's okay. But just make that first phone call your biggest impression, and then lean on the technology after that to let it do what it does. So you kind of have to feel your clients out also. If you've got a person in their 70s or 80s, they can barely open up their own email account, that's that 10% of people that won't use InsureGrid, but most people will. Everybody's got a smartphone. I mean, my grandfather's 83. He's got a smartphone. He could use InsureGrid as long as I tell him exactly how to do it. It may take him 2 to 3 minutes opposed to a 25-year-old that could do it in 60 seconds, right? But yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I guess, yeah, getting more into your agency and your business, we've talked, you have a niche in kind of landlords and real estate investors. And I'm curious, how you got there, how you started developing these relationships and how you continue to invest your time.
Absolutely. So I started my insurance career in the state of Florida, where there's a lot of vacation rentals and short-term rentals. They, in a way, kind of started the whole Airbnb thing. It was there before Airbnb was a thing, if you will. So just kind of being in that kind of market, that kind of helped me learn their risk tolerance, how they like to have their policies written. I speak their speak and walk their walk, if you will. It's just knowing that it's more of a, let's file claims only for catastrophic events. Let's not sweat the small stuff, carry high deductibles, what have you.
Very cool. And how you develop these relationships in Denver?
Yep. So I'm a big proponent of being in landlord and investor Facebook groups. There's a lot of hive mind communities and forums on social media platforms that you can become a member of and be a voice of reason. You add value in these groups, you comment on things, you give your experience and advice on your side of the industry, right? Maybe you're not an investor or a landlord. That's okay. You are still kind of in that market because you want to help insure these kinds of people. You've written landlord policies before, let's say. So they come in here talking about, my tenant has this dog, or I've got a hot tub. Do I need to put a lock on it? I might do Airbnb. There's many different things that go on, but meeting with these folks in Facebook groups online is really good. Also, seeking out mortgage brokers and asking them, do you primarily work with first-time home buyers? Do you work with investors, right? So there's a lot of mortgage brokers who will only work, or the majority of their leads are, let's say, a first-time home buyer, where the interest rates for investments are good through banks and credit unions. So you want to try to partner up with local bankers and local credit unions to get leads from those types of folks. You meet with them, take them to lunch, let them know what you're good at, the kind of products you have to offer, the kind of service you have, the way you use technology to make the insurance buying process easy, right? So when I go to meet with a referral partner, let's say it's a banker that specializes with investors and landlords, I'll ask them for their business. I turn that banker into a lead, right? You don't know me, but let's quote your personal insurance so you can see what my process looks like, how I use technology. That way, when you do send me leads, because you're going to after you see how I do business, you get a feel for what it's going to look like, and you can be confident in sending me referrals.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, showing the value, upfront before asking for the referrals. That's a really great insight. We had a question. How long does it take you to quote options and then create the videos and send to clients? Time savings is really where agents get the buy-in. Otherwise, it's just another software or task they have to do.
You vote Derek?
Yeah, so that's a great question. It just really depends on how quick your computer is and how many screens you have. I'd like to say that I'm pretty good with technology and running proposals. Phone call, 10 to 20 minutes. Let's say I have a wide open hour. Okay, I get a phone call for a lead, 5 to 10 minutes on the phone to butter them up and make them like me, get them into the system. I'd say another 20 to 30 minutes to run the proposals through all my different carriers and like finalize everything, and that's using all my other tools to like search for permits and, features on the house, replacement cost estimates, all that. And then another 5 to 10 minutes to record the video proposal and send it. So one thing to be said, especially with that question, right? It may sound like a lot of time. It's not, because your close ratio will go up. I track my close ratio, and that's very important. So yeah.
Got it. Makes sense. Speaking of close ratio, because I know we talked about this the other day, what difference in close ratio did you see before InsureGrid and after InsureGrid?
It jumped tremendously. So I had noticed before, when I was just emailing proposals, that my close ratio was not high. I couldn't give you an exact number, but I know that after using InsureGrid, and especially paired with a video proposal, it jumped through the roof. And it honestly helped me open my own brokerage, because I saw that, okay, I'm getting this many leads in. That's what I focus on, right? You see that in the top right of this revenue levers page here. You should focus on leads generated, not the premium written or the policies written. How many leads am I generating, and how many of them am I actually closing? Not a lot of people focus on that. They just want to focus on the dollar amount.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep. So from there, let's say you get 20 leads in 1 month and you close 12 of them. What about those 8 leftover leads that you didn't close? There was a DUI, maybe they had a fire claim. For some reason, they just didn't fit the markets that you have available to you. What are you going to do with them? Everyone lets them go to waste. They just sit there in the database. So that's where, again, you need to follow up with these people and lean on technology to do that for you. It can be very helpful to follow up with those leads and not let them go to waste.
And how are you following up with those leads?
So I put them in a system called Agency Elephant, it's a CRM, so to speak. It does text, ringless voicemail, email campaigns. It's like an automation suite, if you will. So you can basically plug them into an automation that says lead not closed. I can mark that they had a DUI falling off their record December 1st, 2023, right? So it's going to casually stay in front of this person over the next 6 to 9 months. Happy 4th of July, happy birthday. One of them's a ringless voicemail, one of them's a text message, one of them's an email, whatever. And then November 1st, it's like, hey, it's Matt. Remember we spoke in March? I couldn't help you because your DUI was still there. well, it's falling off in December, I'm going to be able to get you some good rates. They're going to pick up the phone. They're going to call you. You're going to close that lead.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it's just leveraging your data, really. And
Sure.
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for sure. But if you're willing to put in that work, you will end up writing a ton of premium. The leads, you're just setting yourself up for future success and
Yep.
more written premium.
Yeah, exactly. Another question. Do you make a video for each customer? Or do you use a general video to show the basis about insurance?
I make a very unique video for each and every individual lead that
Yeah.
comes across my desk.
Yep. Makes sense. Another question regarding issues utilizing InsureGrid. We have some older clients who struggle with computers. Do you find yourself having to walk through the process with them?
Sometimes, it's not a bad idea to pick up the phone, call the 800 number with them and have a password reset done.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a password issue, I'll ask them, hey, when's the next time your niece or nephew is going to visit? Oh, well, actually my nephew's coming over tomorrow. Great. He can help you with this,
Right.
You just got to kind of think outside the box and like not take no for an answer, if you will. Now, that's not to say 2-3 days goes by and you just know that it's not going to happen. Sure, still quote them and get the information over the phone, but you can't give up on the first or second rebuttal. And those are rebuttals, right? Coming from elderly folks that aren't good with technology. Sometimes they're just old and stubborn and they have the email on their phone. They just don't want to do it because they're old school, You show them how easy it is. I'll stay on the phone while you do this. Oh, well, it's telling me this. Okay, we'll try that. Hold their hand, make them feel good about it, and they'll figure it out.
Yep. Yeah, I'll never forget when SureGrid first started. We actually it was an agent in Staten Island, New York, and he had a woman who was 94 years old with a Geico policy go through and use SureGrid. And so whenever people are like, oh, old people, older people won't use it, it's like, well, they will. It's just how you go about that process.
For sure. That guy from Staten Island was definitely a salesperson.
Oh yeah.
He sold his lead on using InsureGrid. This is how I want to do business. Right. Let's make this easy.
Right. Yeah, because if not, you can do the hard way and have that person, go down and find the file and then scan it and then you go through that. But it's, do you want to make it easier on them?
Right.
Brian asked, what are some of the details that you consistently emphasize on your loan proposals?
I harp on coverage differences. Again, price is certainly something, but when you're doing a side-by-side, right? I've got their declarations page because InsureGrid's awesome. And here's my proposals, right? You're clicking back and forth on the PDFs so they see it, and you add it up, right? Like your dwelling's at 300,000, I'm at 350. That's an extra $50,000 in coverage. You don't have sewer and water backup. I'm giving you 25 grand sewer and water backup. Do you want to sweep sewage off your floor? Or do you want to pay your deductible and have somebody come take care of that for you? So just kind of driving home the coverage differences, like liability too. I see tons of policies with 300,000 in liability on a property policy. It's $1 a month to go to 500, right? It's like I'm giving you an extra $200,000 in lawsuit protection. Okay. And that really rings home with them. So, and you can do those calculations when you do the pricing at the end. Not only am I saving you $1,000, you're getting $495,000 more coverage than your other policy, whatever it is.
Yep. Lawsuit protection. That's a good word.
It's great. People are very lawsuit happy while the economy's in the pits right now, for sure. So, and also carriers they're going by the book. They're not as lenient with the checkbook right now. So if you've got a garbage policy, they're going to stick it right back to you, and I tell people that, you got to know what you're buying. And that's why delivering this again using InsureGrid and Loom, that's my way of doing things, is they're seeing it and they're hearing it and they're understanding it, not just making a purchase based on the price.
Yep. Makes sense. Awesome. Awesome. Doing things differently. I know we've talked about some of these already, but it seems like yeah, you got a great list.
For sure. So I've seen this coming a long time. I've been in this industry, I think like 12, 13 years, and things are constantly changing. We have to adapt to technology or else you're going to get left in the dust. It can be overwhelming. I get overwhelmed with this stuff all the time. Pick one thing, master it, right? Obviously, InsureGrid, that's step one, master InsureGrid. Selling it to your leads, use it. Text them the link, email them the link. I put it on a QR code on the back of my business card. It's on my social media platforms, right? Like you just put that link out there. And again, you want to make the process easy on the client, right? Because many of us are competing with the Geicos and the Progressive Directs and the Esurance direct to consumer channel, where people could just kind of name their price, point, click, get an evidence of insurance. And it's super easy for them. And they like that because they're scared of it. They don't want to have to deal with someone. They think maybe a broker costs fees, whatever. So just make your process easy on the client by gathering data for them. Deliver the proposals in a way that's going to be unique and different, that they understand it. It's going to make people want to do business with you and then send you referrals. It's truly amazing. So also having a some sort of follow-up system. I don't care what it is, even if it's a Google Sheets follow-up that you check in on monthly, or a high-tech automation suite. You just have to follow up with your not only proposals sent, but your leads not closed. So many people just do not follow up, and their written premium and their numbers are reflective of that. Your biggest earning producers always follow up 2, 3, 4, 5 times, text, email, paper mail. I still send out paper mail quotes sometimes. I'll look at the age and the date of birth. They got it via email with the Loom. Then they replied and said, "Oh, that's great. Send me the PDF format." Cool. I'll send it. Right. I don't hear from them for a day or two. I put it in the US mail. 5 days later, they call with the credit card. Right. Where I thought most people would have given up. Right. They thought the lead was dead. So track the leads you bring in your closing ratio. That was one of the biggest things that some industry peers had taught me to be a top performer, right? Because at the 2 brokerages that I worked for prior to starting my own, I was always trying to be within the top 5 producers at the agency, right? So I would ask these people, how is it that you write these big numbers? And that's what they told me. Track your leads, track your closing ratio. That's it. So if you need to make X amount of dollars in commission this month because you want to buy a boat, pay for your mother's cancer, your kids going to private school, whatever it is, okay, great. I need to write 80,000 in insurance premiums this month to make X amount of dollars. Work backwards. In order to write that amount of premium, how many leads do I have to bring in? What is my closing ratio, right? So if you've got a 50% closing ratio and your average household premium is X, right? I can explain this to anyone. If you want to send me an email, I'll show you what that looks like. But you essentially take leads brought in, closing ratio, average household premium, and then you multiply that. And then I'll tell you how many leads you need to bring in per month.
Makes sense. Very cool. Yeah, focusing on the leads, top of funnel.
Absolutely, just so important. It will all fall into place for what you need to do. And also I set the expectation, right? Again, people think that they are the most important thing. My mortgage broker told me that I have to have this quote today. They're closing 30 days from now. Sure. We can get you the quote within 24 hours. That's fine. Right. I'm a little busy right now, or just got back from vacation, whatever it is. I always like to set the expectation about my time, my response times, my availability, right? Your house is on fire Saturday at midnight. Yeah, call me. I'm going to answer if I can. If not, you call Safeco or Nationwide or whoever direct. And people really, really like that because you're setting boundaries.
Right. Yeah. Setting boundaries with your customers. Awesome. Getting close on time here. Want to save some room for questions, but yeah, InsureGrid. Yeah, talk us more about your process and maybe like if you use templates or if it's mostly on the phone.
Sure. So I definitely have some email templates for when a lead comes in via email. That's just like it's not an autoresponder, but it's a template that I reply with. It's like, hey, this is Matt. This is how I do business. I need you to click this link and fill out some info. I can send anyone that template. Feel free to use it. It works like a dream. I have a link in my email signature always, right? So other people can grab it and send it to folks. The QR code is on the back of my business card. If I'm out at a baseball game and somehow the topic of insurance comes up, I've literally done this where someone's like, oh yeah, blah, I had a claim and it sucked. And I turn around and I show them the back of my card. They scan the code, they fill out my info. I've got a fresh lead Monday morning. Okay. I have that link present in all my social media accounts, business and personal. And again, you just really got to talk them through the process and let them know this is the easiest way to do business. Help me help you. Okay. It's going to increase the close ratio. It's going to help you drive referrals in a big way.
Awesome. Nothing to it, right?
Simple as sauce. You just got to kind of make it a standard thing. And it's also a way of setting the expectation, right? Be firm with it. You don't want to lose deals because of it. You won't. But if you're a good salesperson, you let people know this is how we do business in the insurance field today.
Yep.
Sure, you want to call an 800 number and not be happy when you have a claim? Go ahead, do it. Their job is to sell you a unit, not coverage. I'm a consultant who's here to help you, is what you're trying to portray.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome, Matt. Thank you so much. You got 5 minutes. Any other questions, comments that people want to chime in on before we wrap here?
I'll drop my email address in the chat.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just pulling up the chat here so I can kind of go through this here. How long does it take to quote options? We did that. Yep, did that one.
Maybe a question for maybe someone brand new to InsureGrid. They just signed up this week or in the past month. What's the easiest way to get started with a product like InsureGrid?
I'd say trying it yourself, right? Use it as a consumer, put your own info in there and see how easy it is, right? Have your friends and family try it out, and watch any of the training videos that Chase has. Get on any calls for support to see how the process works. And just figure out which way of implementing the product works for you, because it really does work well if you use it correctly, right? Like you can't expect something from nothing, right? You have to put in some work also, if you will. But once, like Chase, I figured it out pretty quick what worked well for me, and I just ran with it. That was it. Like sometimes I'll have a friend text me, hey, my car insurance rate just went up. I just reply with the InsureGrid link. Yeah, hey, fill this out. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm kind of busy.
Yeah.
Boom, I got all the data I need right there. It took them 30 to 60 seconds to authenticate their account and get it over to me.
Yep.
Somebody asked, do I make myself available to dealerships? Yes and no. If they're a non-standard client, like last minute at the closing table, those I kind of turn away. If they're like a higher end car dealership, yeah, I'll take some of those leads. I do have some car salespeople who send me deals. You can even incentivize those people depending on your state, like on a per lead basis, right? You can co-brand with a dealership, like, hey, here's our in-house preferred insurance guy, like with you've got your cards or maybe a printout sheet with the QR code that while they're filling out their finance paperwork, they can fill out the insure grid to get you their info for sure. Does InsureGrid pull over socials, Wes? I'm not sure what that means. Email me about that, or Chase.
Social security numbers now.
Oh, yeah. No, I would ask for that over the phone if you needed it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool. Software to pull InsureGrid info into easy links. That is something we are working on, Wes. So I can definitely keep you updated on the product front for that. So we got a lot of things cooking up with the engineering work that we're doing. No problem. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for jumping on. Matt, thank you for giving all your insights. I'll follow up with the recording. If you have any specific questions, feel free to contact me. I'll also put in Matt's email address if you want to chat with him further. But thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend. Matt, thanks again.